When we talk about some of the most epic journeys in history, the Hijrah, the migration of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from Mecca to Medina, is in a class all its own. But you know, this wasn't just a journey. It was one of the most masterfully planned and divinely guided missions you could ever imagine. It's a real case study in strategy, courage, and just unwavering faith. So let's break down how this incredible plan actually unfolded.
This quote right here, it just perfectly nails it. This wasn't about luck. It wasn't some spontaneous decision. It was about an absolute, unwavering commitment to a very precise plan, executed under the most intense pressure imaginable, where every single detail mattered, and giving up just wasn't an option.
So where did it all start? Well, the mission began not with a map, but with a divine decree. The command to migrate was given, and that required an immediate response, a response of both profound faith and, at the same time, incredibly meticulous preparation. Because, in a city full of enemies, absolute secrecy was everything. And let's be really clear about the stakes here. The Prophet, peace be upon him, and his companion Abu Bakr were under constant surveillance in Mecca. Their enemies were powerful, and they were actively plotting to stop them. This wasn't just a trip. It was an incredibly high-stakes intelligence operation, where one wrong move, well, it could have been their last.
So how do you escape when literally everyone is watching you? Well, not with a desperate, panicked run for it. You do it with a brilliant, multi-layered plan that accounts for pretty much every possibility. This was so far from a spontaneous escape. This was a true master plan in motion.
Okay, so the plan kicks off with a foundation of pure stealth, built on these simple yet super effective rules. First, the Prophet, peace be upon him, timed his visit to Abu Bakr's house for high noon, the absolute hottest part of the day when the streets of Mecca would be totally empty. He even arrived with his identity concealed. Then their departure was from a back door, under the cover of complete darkness. And they didn't take the main road, no way. They chose a rugged, unconventional route to make them much, much harder to track.
And this just goes to show you something really important that the historical sources point out. This kind of planning wasn't just for this one event. It was a continuous part of the Prophet's way of life. The Hijrah is just maybe the most powerful example of that precise and thorough approach.
Now, this brings up a fascinating and really tough strategic problem. To navigate those treacherous, unmarked desert paths, they absolutely needed an expert guide. But in a city where trust was so scarce, could they really risk bringing an outsider into a top-secret operation like this one?
Their decision was both incredibly pragmatic and deeply principled. They hired the absolute best person for the job, an expert navigator who knew that desert like the back of his hand. Now here's the crucial part. He wasn't a Muslim, but he was a man known for his integrity. This shows that seeking outside help was okay, but only under really strict conditions. It had to serve a vital interest, it could never compromise core principles, and it had to be based on real trust in that person's character.
So, with the route and the guide secured, the mission moved into its next phase, and this part relied on a dedicated internal support network. Abu Bakr brought his entire family into the fold, assigning each person a dangerous but absolutely critical role to play. First up, his son, Abdullâh. Think of him as the mission's intelligence agent. During the day, he'd blend in with the people of Mecca, listening, gathering intel on what the enemy was planning. Then, every single evening, he would slip out to the cave where the Prophet and his father were hiding to deliver his report.
Meanwhile, his daughters, Asmâ and Â'ishah, they were the logistics team. It was their job to prepare and secretly deliver food and water, the essential lifeline that kept the two companions going while they were in hiding.
And then, for counterintelligence, and this part is just genius, they had Amr ibn Fuhayrah. Each morning, after Abdullâh had left the cave, Amr would guide his flock of sheep over the exact same path, completely wiping away any tracks that could lead pursuers to their location. What a brilliant piece of the puzzle.
I mean, this was a full-on, coordinated family effort. Every single person had a specific, high-risk job. They weren't just supporters on the sidelines. They were active operatives in this divine plan. And every single one of them was risking their life for its success.
And the courage this took, it's just hard to even wrap your head around. This quote from Asmâ is just a powerful testament to that bravery. When a hostile group, led by the notorious enemy of the Muslims, Abu Jahl, showed up at her door demanding to know where her father was, this was her firm reply.
In response to her defiance, Abu Jahl struck her so hard that her earring actually fell off. But even then, she didn't break. She protected the mission, she protected her father, and she protected the Prophet, peace be upon him. Her strength was basically a shield for the entire plan. So after 3 days hidden away in the cave, with the search in Mecca starting to die down, the next phase began. The incredibly tough journey north. A journey through the vast, unforgiving Arabian desert, a landscape that was just full of challenges, and at the same time, a testament to divine care. And this is what the sources just keep coming back to. The success of the Hijrah was really rooted in this brilliant allocation of roles. The right person was chosen for exactly the right task, making sure every single gap was filled and every stage of the plan was completely covered. Nothing was left to chance.
So after all this, what is the ultimate legacy of this incredible mission? Well, it's a profound and totally timeless lesson about the perfect relationship between our own human effort and a deep trust in the divine.
It all boils down to this one core principle that the Hijrah demonstrates so perfectly. You have to do everything within your power. You plan, you prepare, you take every single possible measure you can think of. But at the end of the day, you place your trust in the fact that the outcome rests entirely with the will and decree of God.
So you've got these two pillars of success holding the whole thing up. On one side, you have that meticulous human effort, the comprehensive planning, the delegation of tasks, taking every precaution, being proactive. And on the other side, you have complete divine trust, keeping your heart connected to God, always seeking His help, having faith in the outcome, and ultimately relying on His decree.
And that's not just an interpretation, the sources say it directly. The Prophet, peace be upon him, took all the appropriate measures, he did the work, but at the exact same time, his heart was always with Allah, Most High. That balance is the ultimate lesson in how to approach any challenge in life.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? The story of the Hijrah happened over 1,400 years ago, across the rugged terrain of the Arabian desert. But its lessons, they're absolutely timeless. It asks each one of us, in our own lives, with our own challenges, how do we master that perfect balance between doing everything we possibly can and having perfect faith in what we simply can't control?